got next?
Yeah.
All right. So, this has been a common occurrence kind of in the Black American community where people that are from other, what we would put under the African diaspora of, people directly from Africa, but also, of course, the islands because the Africans were, through the slave trade, were deposited into the islands. Of course, there's always the diaspora wars that go on, but, you know, in the Caribbean, people view themselves as being separate from us, coming to America, but still viewing themselves as being separate. Perfectly fine. But the issue always stems from them trying to put themselves above Black Americans, especially when themselves they're benefiting off of the work and culture of Black Americans. So to get more specific, basically, Kai Cenat, popular streamer, forget what his lineage is. Trinidadian. He's not from there. He was born in the United States, so he is an American at the end of the day. But on his recent stream, he was just talking about his moderators, I think specifically for that's a part of his Twitch stream, that Black Americans don't have any culture. Now, the thing about it, and sometimes I try to give grace to people because they're young, but over the course of my time, I've learned to not give grace to people because even when I was young, I was never dumb and I was never ignorant. And I always tried to inform myself of, because one thing I always hated, and it was kind of more or less a fear of mine, I would say, is speaking while being misinformed. And so I don't give the whole youthful, I'm a young, excuse to people. So he is young, but I'm not giving that excuse to people anymore because when I was young, I wasn't saying or doing dumb shit, to be honest with you. At his age, what is he, like 20, 21? I wasn't doing.
Sure he's like 21.
I wasn't doing dumb shit at that age. So
you literally think about it. At that age, we started our full-time careers.
I'm not giving grace to anybody. Now, clearly for anybody with any common sense, this is a major issue because his whole image. You good?
Yeah.
his whole image, his career, his popularity, all of that is attributed to Black American culture. It's not attributed to anything that comes from the islands because none of the Black American culture exists in the islands. If it does, it's because somebody came over here, got it, and went back over there and then spread it. But none of our culture and as Black Americans is a part of their culture. So a lot of his stuff, or the things that made him popular, the place where he lives, it's all predominantly Black American. The way that he dresses is predominantly Black American. His language is predominantly Black American. His dance is predominantly Black American. When he's doing
like
when the slang he's using,
the vernacular,
the music he's reviewing, all of these different concepts are Black American culture. And for some reason, people that are outside of Black Americans, when it comes to the overall African diaspora, they view that as not being a cultural thing. Like this is
too.
So I think I already said that, but
you think you got to wear like freaking feathers on your back for it to be cultural gear? Like it's still cultural clothes.
Right. It might be different from the way other people perceive culture, but this is our culture here in America as Black people. So you can't make a whole career off of benefiting off of that, doing all your getting sturdy. These are all New York concepts that are created by Black Americans. It's not a Caribbean thing. When you go back to these countries, when you go to Africa, these are not concepts that exist there. The music doesn't sound this way. The clothes don't look this way. The language doesn't sound this way. These are not things that exist in these other cultures. This is our shit. Yeah. So one thing that I don't like is when people get to make a whole career, because this is no different than when white people do the whole claiming appropriation and claiming our culture. It's the same exact thing, whether we share a similar skin tone or not. So to me, this is a problem. We can't have people that claim these other places, which they're not actually even from. He's not actually from these places. He was born in America, so you're an American. But you can't claim these other places and then disrespect it at the same time. This is your whole identity. Talk about
we have identity crises, but literally, no offense, but a lot of first gen, second gen, you guys are the real identity crisis people because like your culture comes from your parents, but you never grew up in the places that you claim so heavily. And you try to talk shit about us. Nigga, I've been here for centuries.
And this is not to start a whole
Can you relate to
diaspora.
that? No,
It's not a whole diaspora war thing, and I'm not trying to start it, but I
I'm
will
starting. I'm
respond.
kidding.
I will respond to people making comments about this stuff. Like, you can't disrespect something that you benefited from. If you brought, because that's the thing about it, which I think they don't understand. If you brought your wherever you're from, he's Trinidadian. If you brought that Trinidadian culture to America, you're not going to be
It would
popular.
not
It
be
wouldn't do
received.
anything. It wouldn't be received at all.
Yeah.
So you're benefiting from
Speaking
the
Dodge.
Bronx, New York, and all of the culture that comes out of there. And you can't then turn around and disrespect it and say that Black Americans have no culture. You are claiming Black American culture with everything that you do, and without doing that, you would still be broke in the Bronx if you were doing your Trinidadian
Literally. That's why I
culture.
wanted to tell them. Everybody who says we have no culture, then practice your culture 100%. The dress, the language, the music. Don't do anything outside of that then. So then see how much culture we really have at that point. Because that would be a way for them to see it.
Right.
Don't indulge in anything. Don't speak like us. Don't say anything.
Because then he would still have the rats running around in the apartment. Because and you know what the thing is, I fuck with Kai, so he's
that's
done
why this is a shame. Like this made me view him like way differently. Like I don't like that.
And
'Cause
he's
this shit
done
is like a trigger for me.
right, and he's done a lot. But like, don't disrespect the brothers that live in the AMP house with you.
Literally,
Don't.
you could tell that a lot of them are like Duke, right?
Yeah, he's from South Carolina. Like, that's like southern.
People don't want to
country.
admit this, but you can't tell visually when someone's African American. Like I know that was a whole debate, but I mean we have 20% European DNA, and we have like other stuff mixed in. Like I don't know, we could just appearance wise, some of us you could just look and tell.
I don't even care about.
But that sounds like that's too much. Like
I don't even care
nitpicky.
about all of that. But it's
I could just
because
tell
people look
Duke is
differently. Like
kinda.
specifically, don't benefit from the culture and then disrespect it, because you just look like a weirdo at the end of the day. But recognize what it is that you've benefited from with this culture
And your fan base too. Like
Right,
you're
you
disrespecting your own
disrespecting your
fan
fan
base. The
base.
people that are making you rich. Like I'm sure it's a lot of just young Black boys literally growing up like in the South somewhere, just looking up to you, and
you
you're
just called them
disrespecting
all
them,
uncultured.
Like, what? So
And
lame.
moved down
He's
to the
so
most
lame.
and moved down to the most prominently Black American city.
Literally Atlanta,
yeah,
like the mecca of Black America. Like let's be real.
yeah, it was a little weird. I don't really like I fuck with him because I see what he's done, but I don't particularly like tune in to him.
I never was a big fan of him anyway. Like I'm not gonna lie, I do always end up feeling a way about like a lot of like first gen or direct immigrants that come here and I love Nikki, but I do sometimes like damn she's Trinidadian. Like at the end of the day, like she came up in here and they love to say it's assimilation, but how come it's assimilation when they do it, but it's appropriation when white people do it, right? Like if a white girl or an Asian girl gets on the internet or Hispanic, right, and she's talking in slang, they're like, damn, she's appropriating, but she might have grew up in it, right?
Right. She also might be from America longer than you've been.
Literally, and they'll call that appropriation, but they think because we share the same skin tone, oh, it's assimilation. They're assimilating. Like no, it's appropriation too. Like let's be real, it is in a sense. So yeah, it's like I love Nikki, right? But like as I got older, I realized she is an immigrant. Like I think she's directly immigrant, or I think she moved, right? She was born in Trinidad. So it's like she came in, she assimilated, appropriated hip hop culture, and she succeeded in it. She's very talented in it, which is fine, right? But that's what it like. Call a spade a spade. That's still what it is at the end of the day. Like there should still be an appreciation and acknowledgement of the culture that you are a guest in. Really, you're a guest. You're great. You're an icon. You dominated it. Same with Biggie Smalls, but it's like you're a guest in it. Like let's be honest. And like you just happen to be good. So like it rubs me the wrong way sometimes when like a lot of like outsiders of the culture infiltrate it and then they end up dominating it, right? Because they are talented people, but then they disrespect it, and that's crazy to me because it should be love, It should be all love. Like you living in the land because of our people fighting for you to be here. Like there was no freaking immigration. Why would they want more? They didn't want the Black people that they forced here. They didn't even want us here. So why the fuck would they want you here? We fought for you to come here because we wanted our brothers and sisters to come and join and be able to live the American dream. And then this is how you respect us. All right, noted.
Yeah,
that's why you short and ugly. I'm just kidding.
See. But that's where people lose.
I'm joking.
But so you gotta stop doing that because that's where people lose the intellectual part of the conversation.
I know.
Stop. But
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah. You got anything else?
Well, no, I'm saying like it is annoying though. Like honestly, like it's For me, that's why I get mad, because it's more so it's disappointing, I would say, more so than anything, because it's like that, like it's for, I feel like from us, we always worked in love. But I feel like for a lot of Black Americans, what it was before is there was a sense, and that's where the whole movement started with like the Jesse Jacksons and the terminology African American where it even came from, right? Because and like the Pan-Africanism, I think that a lot of Black Americans were feeling this sense of like they want to connect with their people from home and across the diaspora, right? And I feel like we always were so like open arms, and then this is kind of what we get back. And like I get some of the arguments was like when we were growing up, a lot of people would call them African booty scratchers. Like that's their thing. That's their thing. And I acknowledge that definitely did probably happen, right? With us doing that to them. But it's like you taking childhood school bullying, like, and comparing that to like what I consider like systematic like erasure, right? Because that's what this is. Like for me, it's considered erasure of a culture, because by someone like Hayek saying there is none, that makes everything that he's doing seem like it's non-existent. Like it's not Black American culture. It's just American culture. Or it's just him, or it's just Black culture. So everybody who's Black can just take it. But it takes away the acknowledgement of it being Black American specific culture. So for me, it's like, how do you? Like, what my like thing is, my fear is like, how do you repair this? Because like if you know what I like though, I think what we're seeing a lot of Black Americans, maybe it's because it's Tariq Nasheed, right, and this whole FBA thing. They are really being vocal about it. So maybe we're really fighting it back against it. But I do have a fear of a erasure happening.
Erasure can't happen though.
But you know what I mean though? Like so many people are gonna come here and like take it over.
Yeah, but the reason why it can't ever happen is because they're still
Outnumbered.
they still have to get the blueprint at the end of the day.
That's true.
So
and the
people
blueprint is embedded in the households.
Because I would compare it to like why a company like Shein or Fashion Nova or Temu, all these different brands, why they can't exist without the luxury brand existing, because all their whole brand is copying. And I'm not saying that their culture is all about copying, but if you take hip hop culture, Black American culture overall, and let's just say it just ceased to exist, then there would be nothing else, right? Kind of like a lot how streetwear kind of fizzled out when Virgil died, yeah. And or when he just kind of stopped leaning into it, when he sold off white and all that other stuff.
Yeah, everybody's looking around, what's next?
Everybody's looking lost, and everybody, the only thing that people have been doing is just replicating all shit that he's already done, because that's like what existed. So it's like one of those things. So that's why I think it can't ever be erased, because there's always going to need to be, as long as there's Black Americans, there will always be a differentiation, because that is the blueprint at the end of the day.
It is.
There can be as much integration as possible. All these different things can occur. But my parents gave birth to 3 different Black children, so we could give birth to 3 different Black children each. There's 9 of us. There's always going to be some sort of multiplication. Like it could keep going on forever. So I don't fear erasure in the same way that probably like white people have. We've seen that they are concerned about erasure when it comes to their culture and integration and infiltration.
Especially because we're like a quote unquote minority, but we're a loud minority. Like our culture, you see, it impacts the world. Everywhere you go, like we traveled to a lot of places, you see a lot of hip hop, the remnants of it. You see
19 hours away, 19-hour flights
like
away.
You see the shirts they're wearing, like they're wearing like the hip hop clothes that came out of hip hop culture, like late, like all over the diaspora. Like people love to talk shit, but you see in Africa they're wearing lace fronts with the baby hairs how we styled them. Baby hairs came from Black American women. Like let's make that clear. That came from like, what's her name, Josephine Baker in the 1920s. That's where the whole baby hair thing came from, because it came from the fact that we had to do our hair to assimilate to white culture, right? And then we figured, okay, we have these edges. What are we gonna do with these edges? And then Josephine Baker slicked them down, and that's where that came from. Like let's be real. That's where like the whole wig concept came from, Black America. So it was like the way we do them, like the lace fronts. So the women are looking to us for what's next with the hairstyles. Every time you see somebody like a Jada Waiter doing something here, they doing that shit in the Caribbean and Africa. So I need them to stop. Like I need them to stop. Because no offense, your culture is not superseding the world. It's not. Black American, like when people say Black culture, we're talking about us. Like, let's be real. You could look it up. Go Google Black culture and go to Google Images and look at the pictures. You're going to see bamboo earrings. You're going to see baby hairs. You're going to see grills. They're not talking about any other Black people outside of Black Americans. So I need people to stop acting like there's no culture. Like, we are the culture. Literally, we are. So, like, I love my Black people, like I said, all around the world, but nobody's
Nah,
Like,
we
no.
don't love our black people all around the
I
world.
love the black people who respect
There we go. I love the black people that
my
respect
culture.
us. And aside from just the black people, me
I respect
personally,
your culture. I respect your jollof rice. Your what's the Eritrean dance that they do? The Ethiopian, the shoulder thing.
Esquita.
It's a certain name for it.
Esquita.
Yeah, all that stuff is cool to me. I think I have friends from all these cultures. Everybody has beautiful culture, but disrespect mine too. Mine is just as beautiful and the most popular. So like, disrespect the same way I respect yours. Respect mine. Like it's real simple. And for the Caribbeans, they are really delusional because they're in the same boat as us. The only difference is they literally just got dropped off in the Caribbean and we got dropped off here. So how's your culture any more valid than ours when it started around the same exact time, right? Like they're so delusional.
Yeah.
You love it so much, but you live here. That's ironic. If I love my country so much, I will be there, fighting, living there. Even if it's not the best place to live, I'll be fighting for it. Cause I love it that much. But hey, that's just me. So I need Kai to stop. Now he got me amped up. Ooh, that's a bar. Get it?
Except it's AMP, but yeah.
Same thing.
That's all right.
Well, let me get a bar for that. He got me.
Anything else?
He got me.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
AMP, American.
Go ahead, finish it. American what? American what?
American murder.
Yeah, American murder. All right, American murder pact. I know. All right. Anything else?
We gonna get him out of here.
We're not
Let
gonna
me
get
not say
him
that
out
because
of here.
then God forbid something happens, they can be like, "She said it." I'm just kidding. But I mean, maybe I think Kai is the type of person. I mean, low key, he be the person that sucks up to fix things when he's getting a lot of like hate. But if this gets enough like, I mean, I heard it through you, and I saw the TikTok and I saw the tweet, so like it seems like it's trickling through, and maybe it'll spread more. But I feel like he'll be the type of person that if it potentially just blows up, that maybe he'll come back and like correct himself. You know,
But it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. He's still setting. He still probably feels that way.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
still-
Apologies
yeah.
don't mean anything to me. Because to
Yeah.
me, the best apology is to never do the shit in the first place.
Yeah, you felt it. 'Cause you
You
said
felt it, and even if you apologize, you still
Yeah.
feel that way. You're just apologizing because there's backlash. So he feels that way.
Yeah.
He feels like their version
It's
of
it's so disrespectful.
whatever. That's what it is.
So I would just hope, honestly, for my Black Americans. I mean, the kids are not gonna be headstrong
'Cause
enough
they
to
don't
do it, but
care.
Please, like, stop supporting these people. Like, they don't respect you. They don't love you. They don't care. They're just using your money.
But I think the thing about the new
Maybe he'll save
generation,
his money and move to Trinidad. That would be nice, actually.
nah, he would never.
He's Trinidadian. That's his culture. His culture. He loves it. So he should go live there. Get out of Atlanta.
Yeah, but he won't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because the cultural pride is
From a
fucking BS.
distance. It's from a distance.
It's from a distance. They feel cool because they feel like it represents something. They say they could put a flag in there, but that's all. So could we. I could put the American flag. Still a flag. And I sound like the white Trumps. Go home. Go back. Go back to the Caribbean.
No,
But he can't go back because he was born here.
Yeah, he would have to get a visa or something.
That's the funny part. Back home, a lot of his own people don't even view him as Trinidadian. They think it's annoying, actually, that American-born, first-generation like immigrants.
Stop topping that.
Sorry.
I'm doing it all podcasts.
I wasn't doing it on podcast. But yeah, they actually back home, like in Africa and Caribbean, look down actually on a lot of the first gen who still claim it.
That's why I said that. Like all of his cultural values, and yeah, you could have grown up in a house with someone that was directly from these places, but you weren't there, so you don't have the culture that comes from
It's
actually
passed
being
down.
physically in a place.
Yeah.
Like just in the same way where I gave the example earlier when we were talking about like my parents and my parents' parents, they're from the South, so like I can't claim the Southern culture in America because I'm not from there. Like, yeah, I'm descendants of it, but I'm not from there. Mine is from the North.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've lived in New Jersey my entire life. I can't claim anything that is from the South. My lineage is from there, but I'm not gonna go down South and all of a sudden start speaking in a Southern Black American accent.
Our Black American culture is the Great Migration era.
Like
culture. Yeah.
That's the equivalent of it. Am I gonna go down there and start talking with a Southern twang? No, but that's what people do when they come from a lineage of being from somewhere from the islands or from like Jamaica. Then they're gonna start speaking patois randomly out of nowhere.
So
like you're from
whack.
New York. Like you're from New Jersey. You're not from these places.
Yeah.
Like you have an American accent. Like not more specifically, you have a Black American accent from being within traditional neighborhoods or hoods
Yeah.
in these places
Could
where
you
black people are
assimilate it to,
traditionally from.
yeah.
So even me, I'm never gonna claim a place that I wasn't actually born at. Like that's
Yeah.
weird.
Like imagine me being like Mississippi, hey Mississippi. No, like that's where my ancestors from. That's where my grandma's from. That's where my roots are.
no, I
But
don't
I
know
don't
them
know nothing
people.
about Mississippi. I haven't even been there yet.
I don't know them people, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't go down there and walk around as if I knew
Yeah.
them people just because my parents might be from there or my grandparents might be from there.
Yeah.
That's not where I am personally from.
Mm-hmm.
So people claiming their parents, the country from where their parents came from, yeah, acknowledge it. Go ahead,
Yeah.
all day long. Go ahead and
And you still
acknowledge where
grew
they're
up with
from.
the food. You still grew up with their accents, right? You still grew up with the
100%.
music. So it's
But
still
where
your
you went
girl
to
culture.
school,
But
where you went to school, who your friends were,
mm-hmm.
And especially the persona that you're giving off to the internet, it's not your culture from back
Yeah.
home.
That's
Go
a funny
take
part
go
too.
take some of that New York drill and go take it to Jamaica and see if they're rocking with it. Go take it to Trinidad and see if they're rocking with it. They're gonna shoot you in your face.
Yeah.
And do the opposite. Bring some of that Trinidadian music up here to New York. People ain't rocking with that.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect. It's just a fact. Like we don't rock with people in the islands, and people
That's
from the islands don't rock with
exactly
us
what-
because it's two different cultures.
Exactly what Kool Herc said. And they try to say, oh, hip hop from a Jamaican man. No, Kool Herc was assimilating to Black American culture because they didn't want to hear that shit. When he started playing Jamaican stuff, they was like, turn that shit off.
Yeah, and
So
we've
he
seen it.
assimilated.
And we've seen that
So
even in
the
parties.
Jamaican
Like,
culture is not hip hop. So let's stop.
yeah, there's a differentiation, and it's not to start a war, but it's like
Yeah.
don't
Just
benefit
respect.
from it and then disrespect it at
Yeah.
the same time, and that's it.
That's all it's good. Like it's really not a war. Like I said, I love and acknowledge all separate cultures. Like I think everybody's separate cultures is like beautiful, and they all have their own history. Like I love the food. I love trying the different food. I love East African food. I love West African food. I just want there to be respect. That's all. Like I just feel like we're the only group that doesn't get their respect. Everybody gets their days. They get to rep their flags. They get to put their flags in their bios. But the second that we enter the conversation, being the most influential culture, is like all this controversy, and everybody wants to jump on. Everybody wants to appropriate. Everybody wants to be included in it. I don't like that because we don't do that to anybody else's stuff. Like I would never move to another country and act like that shit is my shit. Like no, it's crazy. So I just don't understand. I really don't.